What's up, everybody? It's Critical. I love laughably bad modern journalism. Right now, my go-to golden goose is Polygon. It's just a fucking cornucopia of entertainingly abysmal articles. Christmas came early many years ago, and Christmas never left. This is the gift that keeps on giving. It's like the fucking Allspark, just giving life to new, awful articles, and I love it. But today, out of nowhere, the delightful children from down the lane published a real prostate-tickling article on CNN called Why Kids Love Fascist Cartoons Like Paw Patrol and Thomas the Tank Engine. And man, is this one hell of a read. This article really sums up 2017 nicely. This is pretty much what American culture has devolved into. Everything's fascist, everything is Nazi, everything is bad, everyone is evil, and here's why. This article is the perfect representation of what 2017 was all about. Let's dive right the fuck in. And I'm not going to read this whole thing to you verbatim like it's a fucking bedtime story. I'm sure all of you out there have at least a third grade reading level and can understand author Alyssa Strauss's writing here. It's not very complex, it's not Shakespearean, it's not even good writing. It's a shitty fucking article and I'm sure you can read it just fine. So let's go ahead and start. The first thing she talks about here is, all parents want their children to be part of this utopia where unicorns are pissing out rainbows and the rainbows are shitting out flowers and the flowers are getting bukkakied by butterflies. Perfect world, nothing ever goes wrong. No one gets hurt, there's no boo-boos. But unfortunately, our kids are just born evil and perverted by popular culture, and one of the biggest culprits is the cartoons. And then she goes on to say, two of the most divisive shows are Thomas the Tank Engine and Paw Patrol. Since when? She says this with such confidence that it's common knowledge that parents are afraid of Thomas the Tank Engine and Paw Patrol like it's some type of modern-day boogeyman. Oh, if you catch your kid watching Paw Patrol or Thomas the Tank Engine, it's already too late. You might as well just put the child down. They've already become Hitler. And then she tries to poke a hole in your condom and give you this baby of false knowledge that she's not the only insane person that thinks these shows are divisive. She says prestigious publications have essays on it in social media and it's getting eviscerated by grown-ups on discussion boards. None of those are reliable. The prestigious publication essay she's talking about comes from fucking BuzzFeed. It's not like BuzzFeed is the holy grail of good journalism. They're not like this fucking Excalibur cutting through the bullshit and saving the world of modern journalism and bringing up grown-ups on discussion boards. Yeah, that's reliable. Let me just go ahead and hop on Yahoo Answers and see what Smegma Sailor Steve has to say about fascism and cartoons. Alyssa's lunacy knows no bounds as she goes on to try and explain why these shows are causing kids to gas their pets and poop on sidewalks. The first target in this maniac's crosshairs is Thomas, as she links equally horrible articles that explain how it's classist, sexist, imperialist, anti-environmentalist, racist, and it makes me want to fist myself. It's so fucking dumb. Then she goes on to Paw Patrol and says it's equally as polarizing. Well, I don't exactly think it's polarizing to rational people. Then here comes BuzzFeed, where it's once again cited as proof that it is a bad show made by bad people and turns children into bad people. And she continues her plummet in insanity by saying the main character is a megalomaniac with an unstoppable god complex. That just makes me laugh because it's clearly like written out of spite. She's very jealous of this character. And it's sad. It's genuinely sad, Alyssa. I feel sorry for you just even reading this thing. Then, this is very tempting for us intellectual parents who are aghast at contemporary politics, as she takes a sip from her coffee mug in front of a fireplace with an open robe. And just really goes on, this is a source of comfort for our children, but it shouldn't be because these shows are evil. Apparently the possibility that kids are just watching these shows because they're colorful and the characters are cool since it's a fucking train and it's fucking dogs, both of which kids like. They like fucking dog. Well, they don't like fucking dogs, I hope, but they like the fucking characters. It's cool to them. And this idea has just eluded Alyssa that kids aren't watching these shows based on any type of underlying messages, and I don't think they're being subliminally conditioned to want to start throwing up concentration camps or some shit. I don't think Alyssa was ever even a kid. I think she was just a robot designed to be outraged by everything and look for meaning where there is none. And if I'm wrong, Alyssa, feel free to try and prove me wrong, but I think I know what kind of kid you were. You were probably the type of kid to remind the teacher of homework if she forgot, and you probably told your parents that Santa Claus wasn't real because you didn't want to have any fun on the holidays, didn't want to be deceived by the fascist notion of Santa Claus existing. It continues talking about how children are sponges and they struggle with these ideas of good and evil, and they're at this constant battle with themselves. Am I bad? Am I not bad? And stupid shit like that. And then it goes here. On the other hand, children take comfort in the idea that someone is in charge. To them, Ryder isn't a megalomaniac, and Sir Topham Hatt of Thomas isn't a neo-colonial autocrat. What fucking stupid children, am I right, that can't even recognize those characters as megalomaniacs and neo-colonial autocrats? Raise your kids better. Jeez, man, everyone's getting dumber these days. And then to put the cherry on top of this ice cream asshole, we gotta finish it off with this. And the fact that these leaders, both white males, oh, you can't have an outraged, controversial piece without those white males thrown in there. That word's gotta be in there somewhere if you want to be taken seriously. Look like most figures in position of authority in the real world and is not lost on children. I am so certain it is lost on children, Alyssa. I'm not even going to go any further into that. You are so fucking off the mark there. It's fucking sad when the children in this story are smarter than the author. The children can look at the show and take it at face value the way it's supposed to be taken and recognize these characters aren't evil megalomaniac neo-colonial autocrats or shit like that. They're plot devices. They're just there to serve as something that's fun for kids and progress the plot of the show. Meanwhile, you have these lunatic parents that are sitting crisscross applesauce in front of the TV with a notepad, 10 iPads open, taking notes everywhere. They got a cork board in the background, little notepads and strings connecting all these dots and then leading to this overblown and way off the mark character analysis. It's just baffling to me. They look for everything to be controversial and they make everything controversial. It's the stupidest shit in the world. And then they can never understand why people don't take them seriously, and the people that do take them seriously are fucking scary, weird people. Alyssa, read the title of this article. Read your article. Who the fuck is gonna take this seriously? Why kids love fascist cartoons like Thomas and Paw Patrol. Are you fucking kidding me? That sounds like something that would have been a joke 5 years ago, but unfortunately in 2017, an article like this is like gospel to some people. I saw some people celebrating this shit. Oh, finally, Alyssa speaking out on the real problems in the world. Fuck the Hollywood sexual abuse epidemic going on here. This is what people should be talking about. These fascist cartoons. Unbelievable. Finally, someone brave enough to talk about it. It's so fucking sad. I have absolutely nothing to say about this pretentious part of the article here. I really just don't even know where to begin. This is so full of shit. You're welcome to read this on your own. And if you're a rational person in even the slightest capacity, you can see why this is just so laughably bad. I don't want to go into detail on it. It's just too fucking dumb too. And then here's more dog shit from the article. They have Catherine DM Clover here, who has this moral conundrum that keeps her up every night in cold sweats. Should she judge Thomas the same way she would judge something she watches? And that makes no sense to me at all, Catherine, because if I turn on Nickelodeon and I'm watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'm not going to dock points or think less of the show because there's not blood and guts flying all over the place like the action movies I like to watch. So why am I going to grade it the same way? Just doesn't make sense. But at least she lets him indulge in Thomas every now and then when the full moon strikes. Then there's some more pieces from some other parents that I doubt even exist. I feel like Alyssa made them all up just to have both sides of this argument here, even though I don't even understand how there's a fucking argument made from this at all, but it's here. Finally, we reach the end of this nightmare and get to the end of the article, and man, do we get a nice way to send it home. Here's an idea for the creative team behind Paw Patrol and Thomas. Should they want to broaden their appeal to parents without alienating their fan base, I'm sure that's what they want. All of the creators out there with their billions of dollars is probably trying to look for ways to appeal more to the parents. I imagine that's what they want to do from a marketing perspective. Makes sense, Alyssa. Ryder and Sir Topham Hatt retire and are replaced by their equally domineering sisters. God, that's the saddest thing I've ever read, Alyssa. She's fucking calling for the resignation of these two characters. She's fucking jealous of them or something. And then she's okay with the way the characters exist as long as they weren't white males, because she's calling for them to be replaced by the females. And apparently then it's going to be okay. Then the show won't be fascist if the main problems here are replaced with females. Can't say I understand that, Alyssa, but hey, after all, it is your world. We're just defending you in it. This, in turn, boosts the social status of all non-male characters. Children would still get the satisfaction of immersing themselves in an orderly universe where rules are rules and everyone is in his or her place, just without the white guy on top. Oh, so there's the real problem with the cartoons. There's a white guy on top, apparently. I don't even think that's accurate for these shows, but according to Alyssa, the problem is the white devil. That's the real issue of these shows. Everything before this is useless. All you need to understand is the problem is the white guys. Fucking pathetic here, Alyssa. Really just sad. Overall, just so incredibly sad. She understands nothing about why kids like the shows, and she just looks for this controversial statement where it's a fascist show and the white males have ruined it and just converted their children to Nazism. It's the worst piece I've read so far this year. And I say that without exaggeration, and I've read a lot of Polygon articles, but this one I think is the most outlandish and laughably bad one. So So yeah, that's it. See ya.